Hey everybody, welcome to KimmelsIrishPub.com. You might have seen this shirt before, might be a repeat, I don't know. Big night for me. We're doing another movie review, you knew that. What movie is it? Justice League. Okay, so biggest decision for me, what shirt do I wear? I have every superhero shirt, t-shirt like this one looks most like Underoos, which I always loved Underoos. And I always, not a lot of people, but prior to this, knew about Aquaman, Superman, Batman, even maybe a little Green Lantern. We're talking DC here. They didn't really know about Aquaman, and he's the butt of some jokes. If you watch Entourage, they made a movie about Aquaman. I thought that was awesome. But anyway, enough about this and my clothes. This is the shirt I decided to wear. Hope you like it. Whatever. Justice League. Major history for me. And if you've seen some of Kimmel's Irish Pub, you'll see it is decorated with a lot of superhero stuff. And a majority of it is DC Comics. And some of it is Marvel. Not that they're not doing a good job. When I was a kid, it was DC, DC, DC. I bought the comic books. My favorite show every Saturday morning was Super Friends. And that's why I could not wait for Justice League to come out, because it's Super Friends. And that's what I always envisioned. Now, I know this isn't. This is Justice League. It's based off of more of the new 52 and stuff like that. More cyborg than it is the original 5 or original 7, which is Green Lantern and Martian the Manhunter and that kind of stuff. So there's the other ones in it and everything like that. But anyway, huge fan. Huge fan, very excited for this. I know the critics are down on it, 41% from Rotten Tomatoes, and I know the audience isn't as high as I hoped. I think it's 71% Rotten Tomatoes and 7.1 at IMDb, but I don't care. I also understand that Marvel has done a phenomenal job bringing the Avengers together, and I wish DC beat them to the punch, because they were able to create the films beforehand on the individual characters, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, and then they culminate in coming together in the Avengers and telling that story. DC could not follow that model. I mean, you can't just repeat what they did. So they rushed it along a little bit of Batman, a little bit of Superman, Wonder Woman. Now they're going to throw Flash in, Aquaman, Cyborg, all on a real quick and bring it together. So I know it's going to suffer. I also know the film was only 2 hours long. It was originally 3 hours. So they cut a whole hour out of it, moving from Zack Snyder to Josh Whedon. I don't know. There's cries out there to bring Zack Snyder's remaining hour to, or his cut of this. I'd love to see that. Why not? It could probably make money. But then are they saying that the studio made a mistake by releasing the wrong film? I don't know. Let's not get into all that. Let's get into this movie. I'm really excited. I don't care. I'm going to love it. I just love seeing all these characters together. And hopefully it does good enough that they will do more Justice Leagues. And maybe, build off it. Do it a little bit different. Maybe somebody will come in with a brilliant idea that is just as good as what they did in Marvel and the Avengers. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm going on here for a long period of time. I'll start watching it. I'll check in. I'm probably going to check in. I might even just keep this thing running, and I'll talk to you the whole time I watch this movie. No, I'm just kidding. I'll check in, but it might be a lot. This might be a long review. Stick with me. All right. See you, everybody. I want to do a quick check-in. It's 28 minutes and 53 seconds. Like I said, I might be checking in a lot. A lot swirling around in the brain. I kind of introduced everybody, and it got me thinking right away. You see Batman, you see Ben Affleck is Batman. And I immediately went to, who was the best Batman? And, we all know there's controversies about who was the best. For me, besides Adam West. So Adam West didn't make it to the big screen. I don't know, that one's tough. Because I used to love that show. So it's hard to compare. I might have to go back and do that. But for me, it was Michael Keaton. I loved how Michael Keaton brought Batman to life on the big screen. I know a lot of people say Christian Bale. And he did a fine job too. I think it was a different kind of Batman. For me, I always like Michael Keaton. You can talk about Superman. Who's the best Superman? Christopher Reeves is Superman, right? Everybody else does a good job. And, you think about the TV stuff as well. And Dean Cain came to mind, and stuff like that. And Henry does a great job. But for me, I think it'll always be Christopher Reeves. Lois Lane, Margot Kidder. And then maybe it's just because that's the first time you see it, and that's the thing. I don't really like Amy Adams in this role. I don't know. I think it's miscast. That's me. But and then the other ones you can't say who is the best. There's really no other. I mean, sure, there's some Flashes out there, but I don't think there's enough compared. There's no Aquamans, Wonder Woman. I think Gal's got it. But anyway, enough about that. There were some of the things that I was thinking about, and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear, what your thoughts on these different kinds of things. I mean, who is the best Joker for me? Heath Ledger. I mean, far and away. And you would think maybe it's Jack Nicholson, because I saw him first. Besides the early Adam West shows, but for me, I thought Heath Ledger was the best, and I don't know if there's anything else out there. I guess Lex Luthor, and things like that. But think about it. Let me know. I'd love to hear your comments on it. Back to the movie here at hand. Two other quick thoughts before we roll on. One is the villain in this. So the villain is an alien who comes down, who's trying to get 3 boxes together, and these 3 boxes are spread throughout the earth. And I think when you put the boxes, I don't know this much yet, but when you get the boxes together, it creates this awesome thing. So that's what they want to do. Probably, going to end Earth as it could be. But that's what they're trying to do here. And this might go back for me to the Super Friend days. I'd really love to see, like, they started it with a little bit with Superman versus Batman, Batman versus Superman, whatever. Lex Luthor, battling with Lex Luthor, and I would really like to see them battle and go up against the people on Earth. Now, I do also realize that in one of the scenes they talk about how the only thing you had to worry about back in the day was wind-up penguins. So I believe this is built off of all the other Batmans that we've seen. So they have dealt with the Joker and the Penguin and stuff like that. So maybe that's why. I mean, I don't know if that's explained any further in this, but for me, like that, I'd love to see the Joker, the Penguin, Captain Cold, Grodd, all of those kinds of things that were in the Super Friends. The Legion of Doom, I would love to see in that before. I think that would be a great way to start, and then once they conquer all that, and then the aliens can come down and stuff like that. But I know this is based off of the New 52, and not so much what I grew up with. So that's just for me. So far, great. The other thing I want to touch on too is we talked about how they're not able to do what Marvel did with building up the Avengers with the individual movies, which is good. But there's another thing. There's a flip side to that I just thought of, for me. Anyway, so we're getting little glimpses of these characters, and hopefully it's successful, and now we can build off of it. One of the things as we go through the 3rd Avengers movie, or whatever number we're at, you know all about them, and it's just another battle against other people. There's no character building anymore because you know everything about them, and they did a great job with that, but now it's getting a little tired, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, it's not as great as it was when you were learning a little bit more about them. Whereas I think now DC might have that advantage. So now we're getting a little taste of the Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman. Now they can build off of that. And they can bring in other characters and do it the same way and continue to build it that way. So it'll be interesting to see if this is successful enough in order for that to happen. But I think there is an advantage to doing this way. And hopefully it pans out. Alright, get back to it. Maybe I'll see you in another 20 minutes. Alright, hey everybody. Time for another quick check-in here. Try not to be as long as the last time, but we're at the 1 hour, 20 minute, 26 second mark. And a lot has happened. I've answered some of the questions that I brought up. So the villain's name is Steppenwolf, and the 3 cubes are the 3 cubes of unity, which I think when brought together will destroy Earth and create life again on Earth, but in Steppenwolf's world. So it's like burning and stuff like that. And they had this big fight when they originally got the 3 cubes. People from Atlantis, the Amazon, and Man all fought Steppenwolf off, and were able to separate the 3 cubes. In that scene, it shows a couple of Green Lanterns, which was cool, and some other superheroes. So how they all came together to make that happen. But that's his purpose now, is to get these 3 cubes together and be able to take it all over. The interesting part, I think, is because I was talking about how one of my disappointments is the fact that they're already having aliens as a villain. Like, why not fight Lex Luthor and other villains that are already on Earth? But I think it's set up because the other thing, as you know, if you've watched Batman versus Superman, Superman dies at the end, so he's dead during this movie, and they have to at least attempt to bring him back to life. And one of the ways that they could do it is by using these boxes in order to see if they could bring him back to life. So that's probably why they had to use Steppenwolf as the villain, which takes me back to Batman vs. Superman. Why did they have to have him die in that film? It was only the second one. We saw Man of Steel, then Batman vs. Superman, he dies there, you know. And I think that's an integral part of this whole, experience for Justice League and Superman and Batman, all that kind of stuff. Might have been a little bit too early, but I think that's the reason now why he had to fight they have to fight Steppenwolf instead of doing it that way. So I get it, but maybe if you go back in time, we could switch that and bring it back. But we're past that point. But more information there. One other interesting fact that I forgot to mention last time: when Barry Allen goes to see his father in jail, he goes up to the security guard or the guy who's checking him in, and it's actually Jimmy Olsen from the Superman with Christopher Reeves. So the original Superman, it's the character or the actor who played Jimmy Olsen. I thought that was pretty neat. And the only other thing I forgot to mention was Cyborg's dad is actually the head of Star Labs. So Star Labs is, very famous, I think now because of the TV show. A lot has happened in Star Labs, but he's the head of Cyrus Stone is the head of Star Labs. So I thought that was interesting too. All right, I got you all caught up. I'm going to keep going here. Maybe I'll make it to the end of the credits and give you my final analysis. All right, see you then. Hey everybody, we're at the credits. Movie's over and can give you my final synopsis. Little quick thing. What I tried to do a little bit differently this time, if you didn't notice, I didn't actually watch the movie here. I watched it in the theater and tried to take notes and the times that I was talking and film it so that I can get this one out ahead of time. So I thought it was an excellent film. I love it. I understand. I do have some criticisms about it. The villain is the main thing about it. And I understand that they only had 2 hours to put all these superheroes together, so it lacked a little depth. But I think they can build off of it. I think this, and I understand it takes a lot of money to make these movies. And you could see it in the credits, like how many people were involved in this, and the special effects. I'm sure it's ridiculous. So, just to make another movie to please me, I'm sure that's not at the top of that priority list. But I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think they can continue to build off of this. There are some post-movie credit scenes. And the second one is the best one ever, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. I am so excited. And that's part of the reason I want to make sure I get this review out there, because we need people to go to the box office and see this movie. See it as many times as possible. When it comes out on Blu-ray, buy the movie. I'd rather see people go out and go to the movies, and maybe it's too late, I don't know, but they're saying, it didn't do that well, and are they going to do another Justice League? I don't know. I really think that they can do it. Again, the villain wasn't great here for me, but I like the way they all got together, as Justice League, and they built a relationship between each other rather quickly, but they can continue to build on that. They can do now side movies in reverse order. They can do a Flash. They can do Aquaman. I know they're working on those. They can do Cyborg if they want. They bring other people into it like they do. And then they can come back with Justice League 2 and bring in more. Bring in Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, bring in everybody. The Wonder Twins, I don't care. But I really hope that they move forward with this. I hope the actors stay. I know a lot about Ben Affleck. Affleck not wanting to be Batman anymore and all that kind of stuff. They got the Suicide Squad out there. I think there's just so much potential out there. They just need somebody to bring it all together and continue to build off this, because I think there's something here. So I'm giving it a 10. I know nobody else will give it a 10, but I am. I think it's fabulous. I think if you've seen it, go see it again. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Really need people to go check out this movie and see how awesome it was. So that's it for me. I think it's pretty much of a longer review, but fantastic. Alright. Leave me your comments. Don't forget, tell me what you think. Who is the best Batman? Who's the best Superman? You know, who's the best Wonder Woman? You really only have Linda Carter and Gal, but, you know, whatever. You know, who's the best everything. I'd love to hear it in the comments and hear your thoughts on it. And hopefully you're a big DC fan like I am. Thanks for tuning in. KimmelsIrishPub.com.